whenever anyone wants to get Jim's attention, you actually call out, "Here, Bear!" So on the count of three, everybody can join me. Here! Well, great. Thank you so much. I overdid it. All right, here we go. So is everybody okay? Now, I know you can only answer for yourself and not for your neighbor. So if all of you at once would shout out how you're doing, that would really help me know how to proceed. So here we go. How is each and every one of you doing?
Fabulous!
Oh, I heard you. There's a lot of information. Unfortunately, I have a PhD in psychology, and so I'm trained to understand human behavior in the way that the rest of you simply are not. In other words, you are all in good hands. Regardless of how you answer, I can intuit how you're feeling, and I can tell that you are afraid, and I'd like to take some time to help you with your fear by engaging in something that I call systematic self-disclosure. I want to show you, I want to show you that no matter how educated I am really just like you. Maybe this quote will help. Since the very beginning, the mind streams of all sentient beings possess the way of being of the inseparability of being lucid and being empty in an intrinsic manner. Now, what does that mean to you? It's okay, because maybe your mind was elsewhere. You know what? Tell you what, why don't you help us through our psychological journey? Or do we have the house lights, please? Oh my goodness, and you got that too. Would you stand up, please? Yeah, great. And if you would just look around, it's nothing, and tell everybody your name, that'd be great.
Matt.
Matt?
Hi, Matt.
Hey, Matt. No, please don't sit down. Okay. Thank you. I want to thank you for volunteering, Matt. So if you just stay standing. Now, as I mentioned, Matt here and I are going to help all of you deal with your fears by doing what I call systematic self-disclosure. By using progressively more terrifying images, I'm going to bring each of you into a frightening situation from my past that will require your developing tools that will help you overcome your fear. Then, through counter-conditioning with a competing narrative provided by Matt here, you'll be able to experience exposure and then response prevention. You all look confused. Okay. Now, we need a safe place for all of us to go as I lead each and every one of you through my own harrowing journey into my past. So, Matt, what is a specific place where you feel safest? The basement.
Dude, you know who lives in the fucking basement?
The basement. All right, Matt, sit down. Thank you. Well, this will have to do. Now, I'd like everyone to imagine themselves in Matt's basement. Inhale. And exhale. All right, now, time to go through my story. Here we go. Now, I want you all to follow me into my past. You'll be me, and I'll be me, and we'll all be one great big me. So imagine, if you will, you're a 16-year-old boy, and it's 1975. Feel what it's like. Your tendons are being unnaturally distended by your earth shoes, and your retainer can't decide if it wants to stick to your hard palate or to your tongue. You rarely bathe. You might have a spontaneous erection. You have a spontaneous erection. Somehow, despite your grades, you've secured a place on the Poly Spotlight, your high school newspaper, and for a few issues, you've been moved from the features staff and assigned to the sports page. You know nothing about sports. This is terrifying. Breathe. Now picture yourself in Matt's basement. And exhale. Now, let's come back to my student newspaper office and my 16-year-old reality. Now imagine that you are on the sports staff with Matthew Webb. Matthew is a senior, so feel his contempt for you. And remember that you dated his sister Barbara for an entire year when you were a sophomore and Barbara was a freshman. Remember that it took you a full 6 months before you could bring yourself to kiss Barbara Webb. Ignore your screaming unconscious that is trying to tell you that there's a very good reason you don't want to kiss Barbara Webb, even though she's pretty and smart and seems to want to kiss you. Convert this repressed knowledge into a persistent case of adolescent acne. If you still have a spontaneous erection, let it confuse you. Spontaneous erections. And breathe. Okay, now let's go back to Matt's special little basement. Now, neither Matthew Webb nor Barbara Webb is there. It's just you and your unconscious. There are lots of snakes and obelisks. Your unconscious has truths to teach you. Deny them. And exhale. Well, let's up the ante a bit and systematically increase the fear. The newspaper advisor, Mrs. Herring, is approaching the sports staff table. You are also in her junior English honors class and don't realize that Moby Dick is an extended metaphor. You are getting a B-. Breathe. Mrs. Herring is a strict disciplinarian and a good teacher. She wants you to succeed. You lose your spontaneous erection. Now you're back in Matt's basement. Breathe, exhale, you get the drift. That's great. Mrs. Herring is stopping next to your chair. Let the cigarette smoke from the teacher's lounge waft off of Mrs. Herring's hands and settle on your upper lip. Wonder if you will ever need to shave. Hear Matthew Webb and Nancy Clarence talking about the new Jackson Browne album. This is before the unpleasantness with Daryl Hannah, but before Jackson Browne became famous, but he's already kind of an asshole. Breathe. Take a moment to observe that Mrs. Herring is still standing next to your chair. Forget the time that you asked John Murray, who was also in Mrs. Herring's junior English honors class, if the letter in the scarlet letter would ever arrive. Now hear Mrs. Herring's voice saying your name. Jimmy. 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 Breathe. Let these words reach your ears. What kind of music do you like, Jimmy? Stop breathing. Clench. Ignore Matt's special basement spot. It's not going to help you now. Let your retainer block the truth from slipping past your lips. You want to say, I like Carly Simon. No, you want to say, I love Carly Simon. No, quit lying. The truth of the matter is this. You want to say, Carly Simon is the only one who understands me and I would die for her. You know that Matthew Webb doesn't listen to Carly Simon. None of the boys on the sports staff does. They look at her album covers and they notice her nipples. You notice her nipples too, but you only wonder if she was cold that day. Gasp for breath. Wish that you were back at home in your enormous orange beanbag chair. Feel the invisible cord that seems to be pulling your pelvis and your clavicle together as you rest awkwardly atop the styrofoam beans, causing your spine to contort into a constant question mark. Let Carly Simon's voice tell you that she doesn't want to get married either, but she has to because that's the way she's always heard it should be. Allow her to convince you that these are the good old days. Even though you're earning a D in trigonometry, your dad is always disgusted at you, and it isn't only because you can't parallel park. Know deep in your heart that when Carly Simon sings, loving you is the right thing to do, she's giving you permission to think about Davy Miller, even though you don't need her permission because it's happening anyway. And besides, you don't even know that you're gay yet, which is incredible considering how much time you spend thinking about Davy Miller. Breathe. Go to Matt's dungeon. ovulate into some shirtless man. Exhale. Begin to answer Mrs. Herring's question, but then stop yourself. Imagine the consequences. Know that if you answer truthfully, if you say that Carly Simon has provided the soundtrack for your eternal life, you will reveal your true, soon-to-be gay self, and that Mrs. Herring and Matthew Webb and Nancy Clarence and your mom and your dad will reject you. Maybe even for real, but probably not, but still. And you'll end up a hobo. A homo-hobo. Living under a bridge and talking only to yourself, which will become a habit. And then you'll become one of those desperate middle-aged men who do nothing but go on and on and on about themselves, even when no one wants to hear it. And you know what? Fuck you, Ted Cruz. What kind of human opossum actually makes it harder for gay kids when he can otherwise do some good? Breathe, whatever, it's out of my hands. Feel your cheeks burn. Let the shame tuck your chin deep into your chest. Know that you are about to betray Carly Simon, whose voice has saved you from so much despair. Know that you will be Judas, Brutus, James Taylor. Know that you are about to betray yourself. Let the cock crow thrice. Know that someday you won't be able to have a spontaneous erection. Buy some Cialis. Hear yourself saying these words to Mrs. Herring. I don't listen to much music. Know that you are false. Know that now, at this very moment, this means more to you than it does to Mrs. Herring or Matthew Webb or Nancy Clarence, that the three of them won't remember how you erased yourself. Know that you were too afraid to claim the beautiful, funny, passionate, wise, sensual, sexual, literate, playful, joyous, rueful, wry, casually profound music that Carly Simon so graciously shared with you to help you through your adolescent angst. Know that she deserves better, even if you, with all your lies, do not. Know that her music, her lyrics, her voice are moments of grace, undeserved but bounteous. Know that you will buy every Carly Simon record, every 8-track tape, every cassette, every compact disc, and all of those digital things that exist on the cloud and screech, all tinny and diminished from your fucking iPod. And know that this will be just the start of your penance. Know that you must do more. Know that one day you will stand before a group of strangers in a bowling alley and proclaim with all your heart that you